Hey guys, I wanted to make this video because I wanted to talk about why I think there is a high chance for Sabine to be in episode 9. I think that there is a high possibility that Sabine is the expanded female universe character that is going to be in episode 9. If you've watched my other videos, then you know how I have talked about why I think Sabine could be in episode 9, but I wanted to talk about it more, and this video is also going to focus from a marketing perspective why I think Sabine could be in episode 9. I'm going to give a brief summary about Sabine's character in case you don't know who she is. Sabine is from Star Wars Rebels. She is a Mandalorian warrior. Sabine gives the Darksaber to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is Satine's sister. Satine was Obi-Wan's love. Satine was the Duchess of Mandalore, and she was killed by Darth Maul in the Clone Wars show. So when Sabine gives Bo-Katan the Darksaber, Bo-Katan becomes the leader of Mandalore. Talked about this before in my other videos, but I briefly want to talk about it again, why I think Sabine could be in episode 9, because if Rey is the granddaughter of Satine and Obi-Wan, that would make Rey have Mandalorian heritage. So that would make sense for Sabine to tell Rey about her family history, since Sabine knew Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan was the sister of Satine. Also, the Mandalorians helped the rebels fight against the Empire, and Sabine knew Leia. I talk about in more detail of how Rey and Sabine could be connected in my Rey and Sabine video. Female expanded universe character that's going to be in episode 9. I think the details said that she was middle-aged, and that would make sense for Sabine to be in episode 9 because Sabine's around the same age as Leia, so she would be the right age to be in episode 9. It would make sense for Sabine to be in episode 9 because a lot of the expanded universe storylines of Star Wars now are really focusing on the Mandalorians. And in Rebels, they continue Mandalorian storylines that originally started in the Clone Wars show. Dave Filoni has said countless times that everything they write for Star Wars Rebels and everything that they've written connects with the movies. It connects with the whole Star Wars universe. It's not its own island. Star Wars Rebels was not its own thing. Saw Gerrera was in Rogue One, and his character originally appeared in the Star Wars Clone Wars show, and his character also appeared on Rebels. Chopper, the droid from Rebels, is in Rogue One. You can see Hera's ship, the Ghost, is in Rogue One. Darth Maul is in Solo, and the storylines of Darth Maul coming back and everything, it started in the Clone Wars animated show. Darth Maul is also in the Rebels show, and his storylines connect to Obi-Wan and the Mandalorians. In Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, most of Darth Maul's storylines connect with Obi-Wan and the Mandalorians. So there have been a lot of Mandalorian storylines. The Mandalorians have had a huge presence in the Star Wars universe, and it's not far-fetched that Sabine could be in episode 9. Considering that they brought Saw Gerrera, a character that originally started on an animated show, and Darth Maul being back in Solo, and his storylines continued in Clone Wars, an animated show, and Star Wars Rebels. So my point is, the TV shows, the animated TV shows, the books, all that is connected to the main movie series. If Rey's grandparents are Obi-Wan and Satine, it would make sense to bring in Sabine for episode 9 because Sabine would have had a connection to Rey's family. And if Rey is the granddaughter of Obi-Wan and Satine, like I said before, that means she would have Mandalorian heritage, and it makes sense that they'd bring Sabine in episode 9 because Sabine is a Mandalorian. Now I'm going to move forward and talk about why I think Sabine could be in episode 9 from a marketing perspective. I know this photo kind of sucks, but bear with me. So, okay, I took this picture when I was at Disney Hollywood Studios. This photo is of 3 helmets. Luke's helmet to the far left, Sabine's helmet in the middle, and to the far right, the green helmet is Poe's helmet. Now, these helmets are in the Star Wars launch bay at Disney Hollywood Studios, and they have other cool things at the launch bay, like different characters' lightsabers and stuff like that as well. The fact that they have Sabine's helmet at Disney Hollywood Studios, to me, is a big sign from a marketing perspective that she could be in episode 9. And her helmet is next to Luke's helmet and Poe's helmet. And Luke and Poe are both in the Star Wars films. Sabine's helmet in this photo is her Mandalorian helmet, in case you didn't know. And the other 2 helmets are pilot helmets. So you'd think if they were just doing this by pilots, that they would have Hera's helmet next to Luke's and Poe's, because Hera is a pilot. I feel like the fact that Sabine's helmet is next to Luke and Poe's, next to 2 characters that appear in the Star Wars live action films, has a lot of significance. And I know I say this all the time in my videos, but with Star Wars, you have to look at the marketing. I always feel like the marketing is a clue. You have to look at what characters are being placed, where they're being placed, how often are they being placed. And I remember before Solo came out, before it was revealed that Darth Maul made an appearance in that movie, I remember seeing a lot of things of Darth Maul. He's on the cover of Star Wars Battlefront 2. He's featured in Disney Hollywood Studios' nighttime Star Wars show. And Dooku and Grievous weren't featured in the Star Wars nighttime show. So they didn't just include Darth Maul in there because he was a Sith. They included him obviously because he's in Solo. Darth Maul is also featured in the stage Star Wars show that's featured in the daytime. This is a photo of a Forces of Destiny shirt, and next to Rey on the far right is Sabine. You would think that they would put Sabine next to Hera because Hera and Sabine know each other. They're both from the same television show. It makes sense why Jyn is next to Leia because they are both rebels. They were both part of the rebellion. Here is another Forces of Destiny t-shirt. Rey is to the far left. Sabine is right next to Rey. Here is a promotional image for Forces of Destiny. Right behind Rey to her left is Sabine. Padme is behind Rey to the far right, which makes sense because Padme and Rey are very similar. Padme's relationship with Anakin mirrors Kylo and Rey's love story. Also, if Rey is the granddaughter of Obi-Wan and Satine, it makes sense that Padme is behind Rey because Padme was very good friends with Satine. And Padme is obviously connected to Obi-Wan. Here is another Forces of Destiny image, and yet again, Rey is next to Sabine, so I don't think this is a coincidence. I don't think it's just a mere coincidence that Rey happens to be next to Sabine for almost every single Forces of Destiny photo. So in this photo that I took, Sabine is next to Rey. So the Sabine doll is next to the Rey doll. And this picture, this wasn't taken at a Star Wars store. So these toys were not at like a Star Wars store or a store in Disney World. And usually stores like Target or Walmart, stores like that, they only advertise the toys. They only sell the toys that are usually from the movies. They don't usually sell expanded universe toys someplace at Walmart. Now, it was just announced that Keri Russell is going to be in episode 9, but there hasn't been a whole lot of details about her being casted. I think in the article that I read, it said she was casted for episode 9, but it didn't say whether or not she was casted for the character that's being called Mara. And I also read that in the article, it said that they are going to cast 2 more characters. So maybe Sabine is one of the characters that they're going to cast. And I'm going to talk more about Kerry Russell being casted in another video. I read an article from Variety that talked about Kerry Russell being casted. I know the Mandalorians are going to make a return. I don't know if they're going to be in episode 9. I think that'd be really cool because I love the Mandalorians, and that'd be a pretty awesome battle of Mandalorians. And the Mandalorians have been in every Star Wars trilogy, Jango, Boba. So to me, I feel like it makes sense for the Mandalorians to be in episode 9. Mandalorian storylines are obviously not done. They've continued the ones from the Clone Wars show with Rebels. And in the end of Rebels, we don't know what has happened to the Mandalorians. We know that they helped the Rebel Alliance, but we don't see Bo-Katan in the epilogue because there's an epilogue at the end of Rebels, and they actually show the time after the good guys beat the Empire and everything in the Return of the Jedi. So we don't see Bo-Katan at the end of the show. We don't see the Mandalorians at the end of Star Wars Rebels. There are Mandalorian Easter eggs in the Solo film, and they have talked a lot about the Mandalorians on the Star Wars show. So the Mandalorians are coming back. I don't know if it will be in episode 9 or if it will just be in a future animated show. It's obvious that there's going to be another animated show with Sabine and Ahsoka looking for Ezra. I hope Sabine is in episode 9, and I hope the Mandalorians show back up in episode 9. If you guys enjoyed my video, please give it a big thumbs up, please like it, and please subscribe, and please follow me on social media. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think there's a chance for Sabine to be in episode 9? What do you think of Kerry Russell being in episode 9? If you guys have any theories about episode 9, please share them with me in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and remember, may the Force be with you.